فسبح. So glorify. What does that mean to glorify?
To praise.
No, not at all. It said sabaha means to. Sabaha means to float up.
Rise.
To right, because we exonerate Allah. We say He's nothing like His creation. Tasbih means to exonerate God, He's beyond. I don't like glorify because it seems like you're praising glorify. Exonerate, you say He's nothing like His creation whatsoever. That's what tasbih is. Because this is the challenge for us as human beings, is we have to liken God to His creation. By default. Because we're trying to understand Him, aren't we? Like, when you're trying to interact with God in your life, you naturally have an essence of like you're communicating to someone, you personify Him. You can't escape that. But then we have to realise He's not that. So it's this constant challenge that makes life interesting. You can't quite grasp God. And that's when things are interesting, If you're married to someone and you knew everything about them and you sussed them out, they're boring, aren't they? You've got to, there's always a little mystery in the marriage. It's a bit more interesting. Or anyone, isn't it? If you understand something, you become bored of it. So God is the ultimate mystery, and we're constantly understanding God and then realising, well, it's not that. That's why our Aqidah classes are so frustrating, because you say, well, God, it means it's a bit like this, and you say, but it's not that. And you're like, because we're trying to grasp God. Does that make sense? So there's tasbih, which starts La ilaha. That's tasbih. La ilaha illallah, but you're affirming. And so that's why in the Quran often, fasabbih, how do you translate that? So exonerate. Yeah, and what's beautiful here is, it doesn't say who you exonerate. It just says exonerate. Isn't that beautiful? Because it's as if you're not mentioning who, because you don't know who. This is what's amazing, I never thought about this actually. Exonerate along with the praise, go on, of your Lord. So, because tahmeed requires affirmation, not negation. When you praise God, you're saying He is generous, He is this, He is that, aren't you? So you're actually affirming something. Whilst tasbih is exonerating me, He's not that. So there's this like paradox that we exonerate God, but we also affirm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And notice with what's so gorgeous here in this verse is that when you're affirming, then you mention your Lord. But it doesn't say Allah, it says your Lord who nurtures you, because it's through your relationship with Him that you come to know Him. It's amazing, isn't it? فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ. And B, go on. From amongst the prostrators. Which means what? What's prostration mean? To submit. How can this be? How can we exonerate and praise? Just submit. And then you experience it. You know that famous, I don't know that, I've got to check this out and make sure, if it's authentic, but the meaning's beautiful, where Dawood says, how can I thank you when my thanks requires that I thank you? Like, you're the one that inspired me to thank you, so how can I give you anything? It's like this relationship where I give you, it's like a back and forth, like someone gives you some food in some Tupperware, so you give it back with some Tupperware, and then they keep going. You can't win. Because that person's constantly giving something even better. So I can't win. How can I even show any expression of gratitude? You keep doing one up on me. And then Allah says to Dawood, now you've thanked me, once you realise you can't. That is thanks in itself, because you're acknowledging who I am. And that's what that is. Exonerate Him and affirm. But that doesn't make sense. Just submit. And then you go, then you experience it. Okay. And often people do all these scholastic studies of God, but the greatest understanding you'll get of God is actually putting your head on the floor, isn't it? Yeah, because it's not academic, it's physical. It's a physical experience of submission. So that's an amazing verse if you think about it, isn't it?